Hey everybody, it's Strict 9 with Strict 9 GP, bringing you another episode of Out of the Park Baseball 19. Tonight we're going to do something a little bit different, but I thought it might be something you might could benefit from. But I went ahead and loaded my Out of the Park Baseball 18 league into 19 earlier today, but I wanted to go through a few things that might help you if you haven't done that already. And hopefully it's not too late on this because a lot of it's going to depend on how you've set up your league in terms of how large it's going to be, how many files are going to need to be transferred over, and how long it's going to take. So this right here is the Phillies playthrough that I was working on in the Out of the Park Baseball 18 playthrough, and this is Out of the Park Baseball 18 that you're looking at right now. This is the game settings for it, and I wanted to highlight a few things here. When I set up my league, and I've got over the years, I don't know how many times I've exported and imported uh, previous versions into the latest versions of Out of the Park Baseball, and so a lot of this for me just was trial and error, mostly error for a while. But I used to leave a lot of these save settings as default, and what it was doing is it was saving like the news logs, injury logs, transaction logs from the whole league, which you can do. You can set it up to do all last 2 years, last 10 years. And the game logs, you can set it up to do all your major leagues, all the human leagues, all leagues. What I discovered has been the best settings for me is I leave pretty much everything, the save box scores to human for human teams, generate game recaps for human leagues, generate WPA graphics for human leagues. But the big things I think are from the save replays, I do none. And then the keep news logs, injury logs, transaction logs, I set those for none. I figure, playing out year to year, you're going to keep up with most of that anyway. That I can't imagine wanting to go back and see some of those transaction logs from like 10 years ago. But I feel like, and I might be overplaying a little bit, but I feel like in the past that's made a big difference when I'm importing my league. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that before I actually showed you at 19. I've got a pretty decent system, i7 processor, 16 gigs of RAM. I think the hard drive, it's not an SSD, but I think I got an SSD boot drive and a 7200 terabyte drive, 7200 RPM drive. The whole process of importing my game, my league into 19 took about 30 minutes. So I didn't think that was too bad. I saw a few posts on the Out of the Park Development's community forum. I saw a few posts where some guys were having to wait for hours for it to import. And if that's the case, it might be because some of those logs and save files are a little bit too big. But I'm going to go ahead and load 19 because now my league is showing up there, and I wanted to take a look at a few things in this video for that. I haven't seen a difference in terms of load speeds yet, but I'm hoping 19. I think there was some talk that they were using a new database, so it might be a little bit quicker. Yeah, it should be capturing that. Yep. So when you bring up 19 for the first time, or when you're getting ready to import, you're just going to import here, and it'll walk you through it. You basically confirm, and it should point to the folder where your file has been saved. And the only thing is, I think it'll ask you to create a new name for Out of the Park 19. I gave mine a new name just to separate them, but I don't know if you even have to do that, but you do have to input the name. But after all that, 30 minutes of wait time, not too bad. It loads up my league. And this is the home screen. And if you're watching my Out of the Park 18 playthrough, I'm starting to really like this whole dark theme. I think it was available in 18. I just never did use it, but I think it looks really sharp. And the home screen, one of the things I love about the home screen, I now wish I had a larger monitor, but you can customize this however you want it, which you could to a certain extent in 18, but I don't know if you were able to, like under the screen setup tab, you can actually set columns and rows. So I like having, I've got about a 24-inch monitor. I like having the 3 rows of data because I just, I've set it up to where I've got kind of like my personal information, my task up here at the top, my goals at the top, my standings, finances here, and then I start getting into like the actual team performance down here at the bottom. And I like having the who's hot, who's not, but I think this screen it's the default screen, but I think it gives you a great glance of what's going on with your league and your team. But you can configure it however you want to. I mean, I could put 4 rows, and put even more things down here. If you added the rows, like each of these little boxes, you have you could put, notes, a notes field if you have any notes that you're compiling. You could put the standings here, which I have up here at the top, but totally customizable. And you could even do columns. So if I went to like 2 columns, but I don't really want to mess with the columns too much. I kind of like the setup that I have. But I love the fact that you can customize this thing. And I can't imagine if some of you guys watching, if you have a larger monitor, I'd like to see how you get this, how you configure this. Makes me kind of want like a 32-inch monitor would be sweet. I think with 32 you could probably use just, I wouldn't say all 10 columns, but I think you could probably use 6 rows, and it would be pretty comfortable to keep an eye on. This is something that I really started using, I guess in version 16 or so, whenever they started this, where you could customize it, and I really like that idea. This is my history screen. I think this is even a little bit different. I don't know if this is the manager history. I don't know if this was laid out this way. I think you clicked on it from maybe the menu up here where you go to the manager's history, and it brings it up that way. I like having it into that access from that home screen. I think that's really cool what you can access from the home screen now. Achievements is now under your history. That looks pretty cool. I like the new icons for that. For what is that? Bronze, silver, and gold. I haven't gotten a gold achievement yet. I do have my transaction history saved for the last 2 years. No, for the whole time. Yeah, maybe that's why it took so long. But you can actually save the league transaction history, and you can imagine. I mean, this is just mine, so I can't imagine how all 30 teams would look. But that's cool to have this available right here. I'm really loving what I'm seeing with this game. I don't even know if I'll start playing soon, because I'm just going to be playing around with some of the menus. Let's see if there's anything else that's kind of new. Here's the almanac settings. I haven't really dealt too much with the almanac in any of my playthroughs, but it's kind of cool to have. And as far as I can tell, nothing changed. I mean, the import was just very, very smooth. I haven't seen any blips or anything so far. This is the game home screen. This is a little bit different. Wow, I'm loving this too. Look at that. So the game home screen brings you up with all the minors and all the league leaders. Wow, that is so cool. And the organization they're with, I guess, or Man, that is really cool. I don't know if this was available. I'm thinking this is not available in the previous version. But wow, that is, I'm really liking that. Really liking that. How did I get there? Game home screen. Awesome. So you have the manager's office, which is pretty much my Phillies home screen, and then the game home screen. I got to remember that. Of course, you can bookmark a lot of these things, and I am not big on the bookmarks. I don't know why. I've just always kind of gotten used to being menu driven, and like these shortcut keys over here are almost never used. They're handy, I'm sure, but I've just, and that's the beauty of it, really. It's whatever you get used to. This thing is so customizable that you know, it's really whatever you get used to. That is really very cool. News from around the world. I'm assuming that's just basically from the whole league. This would probably include news if I had, I don't know. No. This is actually giving me news from the minors that I don't see in my news feed. That's pretty cool too. Man, a lot of information to sort through. Unbelievable. Explore world. It's kind of cool. It tells you where the players are from. And then the history index looks to be about what it has been. I don't know if, wow, that's cool. I haven't paid attention whether the minors are actually in the current version or not, but this should be the same. I'm thinking it is anyway. And just to give you a preview, and I'll cover that, I am going to play at least another season or so with this Phillies team in Out of the Park Baseball 19. And just to preview, the World Series, it was Oakland over Miami. So Miami and Oakland, I kind of mentioned in that last episode of my Out of the Park Baseball 18 playthrough how those teams are probably building some competitive dynasty type teams in the making, and I was pretty pleased in a way to see Miami make it and Oakland, because I think they've both done a good job in the sim that I've been the playthrough that I've been doing of building their team. They've got some really good young talent, and not a whole lot of big free agent signings. It's all been, for the most part, through their farm team. Let's see if I'm, another thing that I use a lot is, it's not a free agent. I like the reports menu, so that's probably going to be under here. Yeah, under the Phillies, actual Phillies menu. Front office menu looks about the same. Upcoming free agency, salaries, player development, that looks about the same as it has been. Personnel, yeah, it looks like that's similar to the previous version. Rosters and transactions seems to be pretty similar. Everything's in the same place. And then team statistics, that's in the same place. And then you can break it down: batting leaders, pitching leaders. These leaderboards have been upgraded quite a bit. I'm liking the way they look. So it gives you, looks like top 7, and I wonder if you could change that. All pitchers, let me see. I wonder if you could change. No, I'm not seeing a way to change like how many it shows, but I can live with whatever, top 7 if that's the limit. This is my, is that the Phillies history? Yep, that's the Phillies history. Of course, here's where you would generate your reports, news. I use the team statistics quite a bit through the season, because I like to see how we rank against the rest of the league, and also it's a good way of keeping track of your monthly record and record in certain extra inning games, one-run games, which are two things that we really picked up. If you saw the early part of that playthrough, at one point we were like 3-16 in one-run games, I think, and 0-7 in extra inning games. So that was one way that we were able to improve over the season. Off-season center, we're not really there yet. We haven't hit free agency, but I'm just now at the point where I'm starting salary arbitration, and that's more than likely that'll be what I start off my playthrough with, is going through that and looking at free agency. Not seeing too much different there either. That looks about the same. The only thing for me is I'm going to have to get used to the different interface in terms of that, going with the dark over the white that I've been using for years. So far I like it. Yeah, now it's just me clicking buttons. There's so much to look at in this game. See the play settings, those look to be about the same. Here's your lineups and depth charts. Graphical depth chart. 7-day lineups. Everything seems to be similar to 18. Accounting. Is that what it was called in the previous version? I can't remember. But I'm digging the home screen. My home screen. And I'm digging this, the game home screen. That may have been there in the previous version. I just never used it. But I really like the way you can configure this home screen, manage your home screen to have all the information you really would want to look at. Good snapshot of your team in the league. But we're good to go then. So it looks like we're ready to start the playthrough, and I don't know if I'll be able to post that episode tonight, but I'm probably going to play around with the interface and some of the menus for a while, kind of familiarize myself with it, and then we'll get started on the off season for the Phillies and see if 2030 now is going to be our year. So thanks for watching. I appreciate the subscribers who have signed up, and any of the thumbs up in the comments you've given me in the comments field in the YouTube. I really appreciate that, and hopefully you can stick around and see what we do next year in their playthrough. I'm hoping we turn it around, and it's going to be tough with Miami being strong in that division, but I'm hoping we'll turn it around next year. I got some plans already. But thanks for watching, and go play ball.